Hey girl, are your healthy habits all over the place or non-existent? Do you wish you could find true food freedom, move your body for joy, and really just talk a little nicer to yourself? If you have tried to habit hack your health, but the strategies you've tried just haven't worked for you in your busy lifestyle, then this podcast is for you. Hey, I'm Emily Nichols, habit and fitness coach, behavior change specialist, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. Hey, I am here to tell you there is an easier way than what we've been taught about our health and our habits. How do I know? Well, because I've transformed my own life through habit hacking, and now my family gets the best of me, and I now help my clients do the same. I'm now going to teach you how to create healthy habits in less time, guilt-free for all seasons of your life. It's not your fault your habits haven't worked, my friend. We just have to do them differently. So, are you ready to feel empowered and transform your habits and life? Then let's do this. Hey gang, welcome to Habit Hack Thursday. I'm so happy you are here. I hope you have had a great week celebrating the 4th of July, or maybe you've been on vacation, or it's just summertime and you're overindulging and having like the time of your life. I feel like this episode is very timely because of those reasons, but because as women, there's something called the scale that is very intimidating to us. Every time we go to step on it, it's like, dun, dun, dun. This is going to determine how I feel about myself. And gosh, especially coming off a holiday, I feel like our first instinct is to get on the scale and be like, oh my gosh, what's the damage and what can I do to get rid of that damage, to lose that weight? First and foremost, I want to tell you that your worth is not tied to the scale, my friend. It's just not true. It is just a number. It is just data. But I know it's a lot more complicated than that. I totally get it. So we address in especially the movement and Food Freedom Accelerator, one of the challenges we habit hack and provide tons of habit loops for 20 additional habit loops with each accelerator is diet culture BS. And that's when the scale comes in to mind. And gosh, it's something that we have to be intentional about, because honestly, it is a habit. It is a habit of weighing yourself either daily or after you take a big number 2, or in the morning versus the evening. And reality, most of the times, it makes you feel like crap, right? It determines like, oh, I'm good or I'm bad, depending on if the number went up or down. Like, for example, I had a client I was working with a couple of years ago. She had amazing results. She was living in her food freedom. She was focusing on non-scale victories, and she decided to weigh herself because out of curiosity, right? It was more so, I'm just curious. I feel so great. And she didn't lose any weight. And from there, it was just like, oh, well, this didn't work. I don't feel good about myself. When in reality, there was all these non-scale victories. You know, I've been leaning into a lot of weight training this year. And honestly, the scale really hasn't budged for me. It's gone up and down a little bit, just depending on the time of the month, to tell you the truth. But I know I am building muscle tone. I'm slimming down. And that number, I just don't care about it anymore. It's not to say it's not triggering to me sometimes, but I don't care quite as much. So I'm going to give you 2 habit loops, one for actually weighing yourself and one for not weighing yourself, to help you habit hack this together. And like I said, we habit hack this in depth in the accelerators, especially the Food Freedom and the Movement Accelerator. These are my signature mini courses where I cover our basic fundamental needs and really dig deep into specific challenges that my audience, you all have told me, like, this is where I struggle. And especially with diet culture BS, we do dig into the scale inside of those accelerators and help you reframe what the scale is. Before we habit hack this together, though, and give you a couple habit loops, I'm going to give you 5 things to think about, 5 tips, if you will, to help you maybe ditch the scale mentality and really help you see it in a different light. So here's the first one. Number 1, we need to ditch the all or nothing mindset mentality. We talk about this in my private podcast, Atomic Habits for Women. It's always linked in the show notes. I talk about it at the end of every episode because I feel like this is like our secret society where I want you to go listen and have like a big aha moment and be like, oh, okay. That's why my habits haven't been working for me. We have an all or nothing mentality. It's like, I'm either going to stay off the scale or I'm going to weigh myself. Or if the scale has gone down, what I'm doing is working. I'm going to go hardcore now. Or if I gained a few pounds, I gained some weight, then you're like, I'm going to binge. It's like one pendulum swing to the other. And we need to stay right in the middle. Okay. It cannot be all or nothing, especially when it comes to the scale and your health, not your weight. Your health, my friend. Number 2, I want us to really focus on non-scale victories, right? That weight that you see on the scale is just data, okay? It's data. Now, I understand some of us do have weight to lose. I get that, girlfriend. Like, I get it. And it is motivating sometimes when you get on the scale. You're like, oh, good, it's going in the right direction, right? But if you're constantly getting on this scale and using that to determine your worth, we gotta talk about this a little bit more, my friend. So focusing on non-scale victories, like I said, for one of my clients, we were talking about her pants were like fitting so well. She was sleeping so good. Her skin was clear. She was not emotionally eating anymore and was just feeling so darn good. And then she gets on the scale and feels like crap afterwards. So focusing on those non-scale victories will give you a better mindset before you step on that scale if you need that data. Number 3, a lot of times you're just inflamed, right? We're coming off the holidays. I enjoyed a few beverages. I enjoyed a few chocolate chip cookies that my mother-in-law made. I love chocolate chip cookies. You guys, I've talked about so much. And you're probably going to be up a couple of pounds, okay? In all reality, you did not gain fat. You are inflamed. We have talked about this on the show before. So I would highly suggest rehydrating, literally flushing out the inflammation, and also really digging deep into protein because that helps you feel satiated, especially if that sugar craving is knocked into full gear, because mine does, and I have to be pretty aware of it or else I could go that one way where the pendulum goes. Number 4, what is the trigger to weigh yourself each day? It is a habit for most of us, right? There is some type of trigger. Maybe it is I go potty in the morning before I get dressed. I'm naked. I'm going to weigh myself, right? You got no speck of clothing on. Like you take your hair tie out and everything, right? Oh my gosh, this is such a great visualization, but this is what we all do. I know you're nodding your head right now, but there's some type of trigger. Or maybe, there's so many folks posting on social media. Maybe they'll post the scale like before and after they lost 10 pounds. And that makes you go and weigh yourself as well. What is the trigger? And then lastly, this is probably the most important question I want you to ask yourself as you're listening today is, why do you weigh yourself? What's the point? What's the point? Like, if it's for real, like, oh, it's just data, I'm curious, great. If it's like, it's because I want to lose weight and be as skinny as possible, like, girl, I got to get you in one of the accelerators. We got to talk, get you inside the accelerator community, all the habit hackers in there. We've been talking about this week, like jumping on the scale after the holidays and just being like, okay, get my mindset right. I know what to do. I have my habit hacks in play. We're ready to go. So, okay, let's talk about those 2 habit loops. I love this. I've been giving you guys a lot more habit loops because this is what we teach in depth inside of each of the accelerators as well, my friend. Now, as you're listening, you need a little bit more help. Go to the link in my show notes. You can go to bit.ly/healthy habits cheat sheet. Get the healthy habit cheat sheet. And I have over 60 healthy habit ideas on there. Of course, focused around mindset, movement, and food freedom. But I teach a 3-step formula to create those healthy habits, which I'm getting ready to teach you right now as well, is a habit loop. So let's talk about a cue, routine, reward when it comes to weighing yourself and also not weighing yourself. Okay, I know you've felt this way before too. You start a new healthy habit routine and you find a good flow, but then life gets in the way and you find yourself in a new season of life and that healthy habit routine isn't working now. Instead of just giving up, come take my free masterclass, The Healthy Habit Reset. You will learn the simple 5-step habit change method I only share in the masterclass, where I take the overwhelm and confusion out of health and teach you how to reset your habits, whatever season of life you are in. Okay, and I know what you're thinking. How long is this going to take? I know your time is precious, so the masterclass is broken up into 3 15 to 20-minute modules you can seriously watch while you're just folding your laundry. It includes a workbook to help you take action, so it won't take up a ton of your time. Check it out for free and let me know what you think at bit.ly/free reset masterclass. I'll see you inside of the reset. Okie dokie, let's get back to the show. So let's talk about a habit loop around weighing yourself. So there's some type of cue. So usually it's a time of day. It's usually a time of day or a location. Most of us have the scale in our bathroom, and most of us it's going to the bathroom in the morning and you see that scale. So it could either be like a 1 day a week thing in the morning and the evening, or maybe it's a little bit of both. Okay, so you already have some type of cue in mind for weighing yourself. The routine, now let's take this a little bit deeper. So we're focused on our own type of body positivity here. And when it's time to weigh yourself, make a habit to focus on positive affirmations and self-compassion. Even write them on a Post-it, put it on the wall or your mirror before you weigh yourself, and remind yourself that weight is just one aspect of your overall health. It's just data, it's just a number, and just trust that you are more than just the number on the scale. Embracing your own body and acknowledging and appreciating your body for its own strengths and abilities will help you step on that scale with a positive mindset to start. So that's your actual routine. The reward is, gosh, you are practicing self-compassion during that weighing process, and that feels so much more uplifting regardless of the outcome of the number on that scale. You know, maybe the reward could actually be like treating yourself to a relaxing activity, like doing a hobby you love or spending quality time with a loved one. And P.S., we're going to be talking about reward cycles here pretty soon on the show as well. A few folks have been asking about that, so we're going to talk about it. Okay, but next habit loop, let's talk about a cue, routine, reward around not weighing yourself. If you're like, I cannot weigh myself and I need to break the habit of weighing myself. So the cue is identify a cue that signals you that it's time to weigh yourself and just don't do it, okay? So maybe it's that specific time of day, a certain event, or even something that happens on your phone that triggers you to go weigh yourself. Get rid of it. Get rid of it, okay? Also, your cue could also be getting rid of your scale, okay? So that's actually a great cue. It's going to avoid you from stepping on the scale. The routine is when that thought arises, like, I need to weigh myself. I want you to think about engaging in some type of self-care practices that really promote body positivity for you, like positive body image and mental health here. Okay. It could be like doing a meditation, already have an affirmation written out on your phone. I love recording your own voice saying an affirmation and listening back to it. It might be weird. Trust me. I don't like listening to myself even on the podcast sometimes, but or you could even just spend time with supportive friends and family. So focusing on nurturing yourself from the inside out instead of stepping on that scale can be your new routine. And the reward is, okay, you are acknowledging that I am prioritizing my mental health over the number on this scale. Let's go. And it could be some of the same type of rewards that you had with the actual event of weighing yourself, like the new habit loop we just created. So, a relaxing activity, a hobby, spending time with loved ones. Okay, so I hope these habit loops are helpful. Remember, my friend, you are not defined by the number on this scale. I know I get a little like, let me talk about this. And I know this can be a very triggering subject for everyone. Of all these years of being a habit and fitness coach, even stepping on the scale for me sometimes can be discouraging. And like I said, mine hasn't been moving because I've been really digging deep into weight training, but I like what I'm seeing and focusing on those non-scale victories. And I know after holidays, sometimes it can be frustrating, but I am here for you. If you want to work together, go grab one of the accelerators and you'll get to work with us inside of the accelerator community and get some additional help from there as well. Tons of links in the show notes for you, my friends. If you ever need any habit hacking resources, I'm here for it. We don't have to do this alone. We just have to do it a little bit differently. And that is where habit hacking together is going to help you get that transformation, my friend. All right, girl, I will see you next week. Hey girl, real quick before you go, did you know I have a secret podcast where I talk all about why most habit strategies don't work for us women? Spoiler alert, it's not our fault. Visit bit.ly/atomic habits for women, it's linked in the show notes, to access my secret podcast series and have your biggest aha moment about why and how women have to do habits differently. And if you love the podcast, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a rating and review in iTunes. That way more mamas can find the show. Love and appreciate you, friend. We'll see you next time.